So we've just started our trip north. We're currently doing 7.1 knots north through the Turi Passage. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful time of day. It's 4:30 p.m. and we've just dropped back into the water and we're broad reaching in about 15 to 20 knots of wind. So the conditions are beautiful. Sun's up and one of the race boats from the Three Kings race is just heading in the other direction, heading for the finish line, which is great. Pretty exhilarating to see that. So tonight's stop's Kauau, and that's probably a couple of hours away, but it should be nice easy sailing, really nice conditions. So pretty significant that we're turning north here, heading through the Turi Passage. We'll be off to Opua and then getting ready to leave New Zealand and continue heading north to Fiji. So yeah, it's nice to be heading north, but it feels like there's a lot ahead of us right now. Yep.
If you're new here, we're Adam and Vicki, a couple of Kiwis who traded land life for a life afloat. Since then, we've been sailing New Zealand's northern coastline. In the summer of 2023 and 24, we did a final lap of the Hauraki Gulf, enjoying time with our friends and taking Tāiko on what would be her shakedown cruise. Over the last 3 years, Adam has worked very hard upgrading Tāiko's various systems to prepare Tāiko for what would be her first ever offshore passage. Yeah, it's all on. We're leaving now, but I don't actually know how to feel about it. I'm excited to be going back up to the Bay of Islands, where we've got a really good support network up there, and we've missed our friends. But at the same time, we've met some awesome people down here, and yeah, so it's the next step, and it's a little bit overwhelming, I think.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, coming through the Turi Passage and off to Kauau.
So we're full sail up and sitting between 6 and 7 knots. Turi Passage or Turi Channel is so calm today. Lots of birds out feeding. Beautiful afternoon out here. Coming into Kauau now. It's almost after 6, so we'll just be dropping anchor soon in Mansion House Bay for the night, and there's lots of birds, shearwaters on the water tonight. The wind is cold. It was all going well going through the Turi Channel, it seemed good, but as soon as we left the Turi Channel and made it into the section between Kauau and Turi, the wind picked up.
our boat log sometimes doesn't work, so we could only see the apparent wind, so we were sitting between 19 to 24 knots on the beam. Was good, was quite a chop going, but it was good because it got us here pretty quickly. We did 7.5 knots, is that right, Adam?
Yep.
So that's not too bad. So we're just coming in now and yeah, looking forward to dropping the hook.
So it's 4:10 a.m. We're at Shark Bay, Kawo Island on anchor. Had a good night's sleep, but it's time to get going. We're heading to Whangaruru. Going to put the halyard on the mainsail, and we're going to get moving because we've got a long way to go today. Morning.
Hello. And what a morning. We were up at 4 a.m. It's now 4:30. Skipper has me on task, man. He's like, right. So we have set sail by 4:30, having a cup of coffee, and yeah, let's hope it's a good day. It's got 70 odd nautical miles to cover. It's very, very dark. We've got stars in the sky, but we'll see how we go here.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's very dark right now, isn't it?
It's really dark.
I'm really trusting literature charts right now.
Yeah, and
that's your thing.
but to be fair, also you checked the paper charts last night. Check for any hazards. So yeah, the good thing about this is it's only going to get lighter, not darker. But yeah, it'll be good to get to Whangaruru and chill out a bit. But that's 70 miles to go. So yeah.
So we're just clearing Maori Rock, getting out of the North Passage, getting out to open sea. 85 knots of true wind, so we're under motor still. A little barrier island out there, there's some cloud on top of it. The sun's just coming up behind it. It's looking absolutely gorgeous this morning.
Hello. So we, as you saw, we were up at 4:30. The time is, I think we've been going nearly 7 or 8 hours. We've done almost 41 nautical miles, just past Whangarei Heads now. The weather was predicted to be a southwest 10 knots, but it's got more northerly in it. So we've been sailing mostly upwind. And wind's been between 10 to 15 knots, it's all fine, but coming across the Whangarei harbour got quite gusty and windy, not terribly, up to 20 knots upwind, and of course it's got such a long fetch from there, and so it was a little bit choppier, and there's a 2 metre easterly swell, so that's nice and gentle, but very pretty, lots of birds out there. We've just come to Mount Manaia and there's a rain squall that's given us rain and stolen our wind. But as I said to Adam, I'd rather a stealer than a giver in this situation. But it's moving quite quickly, so our average speed has been 5.3 knots and we guesstimated 5.5 knots. 5.6 knots, sorry, I'm being corrected. We guesstimated 5.5 knots to get into Whangaruru. So good spirits on board, everything's going well. Adam's doing a great job as usual skippering. I'm doing a good job as usual being a passenger, and everyone's happy. Yeah, ciao ciao.
So we've just had a squall come through and it's quite nice. It's washed the boat down. So that's nice. We're just passing north of the Whangaruru Heads now and we're probably a couple of miles off the coast. So the sea's good. It's off the wind is off the land at the moment, so that's making it quite nice, and there's about 15 knots of true wind. So we've just got one reef in the main and we're just reefing the head sail as we need it too, but generally it's all out. Yeah, we've been sitting on like 7.1 knots. The average speed for the whole trip's 5.6 at the moment, I think. So for the passage plan that I did, I was expecting, or timing it based on 5.5 knots. So that's worked out spot on. So it's about a 13-hour trip at 5.5 knots. So we're on track and we're over halfway. So we're just making it to Whangaruru. The entrance is just behind me on film there, and it's been a great day. We were just talking about what a great day it's been. It's just about 4 PM now, so we've been underway for approximately 12 hours, and so that's about an hour quicker than what I was expecting. Still have to get into the anchorage though, and it's a pretty big harbour, but we've done well, I think. Conditions have been good. We had some stronger winds around the entrance to Whangaruru Harbour. The wind was blowing out of the harbour there, which helped us. We were sitting on 7.2 knots, 7.4 knots, which I think pushed up our average. But basically our average is 5.4 knots, which is just good to know. 5.6 knots, sorry, which is good to know, just to start thinking about how fast we can go and what our reasonable speed is for passage planning. So it's been a good day. We're going to go and find an anchorage, I think probably in the southern part of Whangaruru. It's gone to the north at the moment, which is why we're actually motor sailing. So we're going straight into it for this last little bit. So we'll just have to see what the anchorages are like in that southern area, because they might be a bit exposed. But anyway, we'll go and suss it out and see you later. So it's just past 6 AM and we're leaving Whangaruru, just motoring out towards Cape Brett. The conditions are pretty light. It's about 9 knots of true wind, so just make a decision as to whether to start sailing. We put the mainsail up on anchor. It's just a bit easier to do that when there's space in the anchorage. And the head sail's still furled away, so that'll be the next one to come out. It's a beautiful morning. The sun's just coming up. Beautiful orange glow on the horizon over there where the sun's coming up, and is it Saturn, one of those planets that you can see, is showing its head, and I can see the outline of a headland. I'm not sure if that's Percy Island or Cape Red or something else, but the horizon's just becoming visible over towards Cape Red. So pretty exciting morning. We're heading back to the Bay of Islands after about 4 months of being away. Really looking forward to catching up with some friends there, and yeah, just being back in a lovely area of Northland. So we're going along so nicely. We've got about 13 or 14 knots of true wind, but we just seem to have found a groove upwind sailing, and she's sitting on like 7.5 knots, and the wheel's so balanced there's hardly any weather helm. So we're just sort of powering along, heading towards Cape Brett now. You can see the hole in the rock at Percy Island. We're a little way away still, but we're making great progress, and we're heading straight towards it, so going really well. So we're 2.5 miles now from Percy Island and Cape Brett. Conditions are really nice. We're sailing along at about 6.5 knots, and it's a very gentle swell, maybe half a metre or a metre, and there's no real sea state other than that, so it's all good. It's southwesterly. Check the observations on predict wind over in the bay, and Tāiko Point and Urupaka are all like 1 or 2 knots of wind, so very calm over there. Expect a bit of wind to be coming around, just as it always does, funneling around the headland, so we'll reduce sail area as we get closer, just as a precaution. But yeah, it's looking like we might be able to go through the gap between Percy Island and Cape Brett, but we'll just keep judging that as we go, keep an eye on the sea state. So we'll be there very soon, grounded, and we'll be back in the Bay of Islands. So all good. So we're just about a mile from Cape Brett now, and I just love this place actually. It is beautiful. The sheer cliffs and the ruggedness, and then I love the way there's these birds always flocking around. They're obviously feeding on the fish, so it's just, you just sort of get a sense of this kind of wild ecosystem here. It's just really cool. The lighthouse is up on the mountain there. Hole in the rock always looks amazing at Percy Island. There's Pahutakawa trees on the cliffs at Percy Island. A really weathered rock face and headland, major kind of promontory on the east coast of Upper North Island of New Zealand. So it's a wild place, and it's a privilege to pass through. Thankfully, once again, we've got easy conditions, and it's going to be a pleasure, not a pain. I bet there's been some real epics happened here. But today is a good day to be here, and we're going to do it. Suns are getting up in the sky now, and very soon we're going to be back in the Bay of Islands. Woohoo! Big lap of Hauraki Gulf done. It's a major. So, and on to new things. Keep heading north now.
are back in the Bay of Islands, and I know Adam's explained it that we're back already, but it feels so good to be back here. We've really missed this place, and we've missed our friends and the support network that we had or have, and now we're back and it just feels so good. Adam did such a good job skippering. He chose a really good weather window. Took us, this is the third day, but to be fair, we only left at 3:30. We were splashed on the Monday, and then we left at 6 o'clock this morning. So only yesterday did we have to cover a big miles. Like, we covered 69 nautical miles in 13 hours. We got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, left at 4:30, and arrived at Mimi Whangaruru Bay at about 5 p.m. So Adam's worked really hard. He's done a really good job. His trimming the sails has given us a bit of fitness on this trip, but it's all good because he's got us here, and it is such a beautiful day. Really beautiful day. We were going to go to Panga Cove, but we've decided to go to Hippie Bay just because there's a westerly coming and we don't want to have to move again. We just want to chill out on the hook. We've been working really hard, Adam particularly, on the boat, getting ready for Cat 1 and on the hard, doing all those things. So yeah, and so we're back, and we've got all because of this man.
It's all good. Teamwork.
And I just wanted to say that these moments are really important, because compared to 2 years ago, Adam would have been lucky to even get me out of the sheltered waters of the Bay of Ireland and into just the bay area, you know, outside of the Bay of Islands. And you know, so completing these trips and having these successes, but you know, and helps us expand our experience and become more comfortable with things, but also learning to trust each other more in terms of sailing. You know, we have that trust as a relationship, but this brings a different avenue to it, and you know, and a different type of trust and level of trust. So these are really good for us. We've now gone off to Whangaruru. We have now officially completed the lap from the Bay of Islands to the Hauraki Gulf and back. We started that on the 8th of December, and today is the 16th of April 2024. So 4 months later we're back, and I'm just so happy to be back here. So I'm going to stop jabbering on right now because Adam's probably getting bored of listening to me, and we'll just show you the beautiful Bay of Islands.
Plus also we got Cat 1, I have to mention that, which is a big deal. So yeah, Cat 1 achieved down in Auckland, as well as meeting a whole lot of really cool people. Yeah.
That's true, and Adam's worked so hard over the last 3 years to get us Cat 1. So unless something major happens that stops us from going to Fiji, we'll be leaving in mid to late May. Well done. Round of applause for Adam. Of course I'm the only one here. Alright, I'm going to stop now, and then you can just take it in as we take it in.